human experience cannot, however, be entirely reduced to words. Some experiences and emotional states are beyond words. That's what David Edwards wrote in 2004 in his book, Art Therapy. It's important to know that art therapy is an option for anyone and everyone. It's especially beneficial to children who cannot yet speak eloquently or have a big enough vocabulary to express what they're feeling. Being a student in college who has chosen art therapy as their future, I have done a ridiculous amount of research on it to make sure it was right for me. And by doing so, I have learned quite a bit about art therapy, which has made me want to do it even more. Art therapy is an effective form of therapy for people of all ages. Today, I will first explain what art therapy entails, and second, I will explain and discuss how art therapists treat a child and how they treat the elderly patients. It's difficult to find a type of therapy that can be effective for all age groups. Art therapy is just as it sounds, using art as a form of a therapeutic relief to patients of all ages. Art is all about self-expression, which is why using different forms of art in therapy is so effective. Melissa Pielick wrote in her article, Connecting Parents of Children with Chronic Pain Through Art Therapy in 2013, that very literally, participants hold material in their hands and are in control of the marks they make on the paper, offering them the liberty to convey and portray their experience in whichever way they choose, literally, abstractly, metaphorically, or cryptically, while monitoring their level of self-disclosure. It is through art that patients tell their story without fear and without judgment from the therapist. Not only does art help a patient express themselves and their feelings, but it helps the therapist understand what they're going through. It's a way to help patients disconnect from their problems and to see what they feel. To look both objectively and subjectively at one's own work is a necessity. In her book, published in 2008, Christine Kerr explained that having clients draw their problem is a very dramatic way to separate from the problems in their lives. It is externalization in the most literal sense. By viewing their art, they can begin to understand what they're feeling and how to deal or cope with their problems. By creating it in a space other than internally, you can finally understand what you're going through. Even though you've been going through it, you can finally start to deal with all of it. However, the patient's age determines the type of art and therapeutic methods that the art therapist will use. There are many forms of art in this world: sculpting, painting, drawing, just to name a few. The art therapist chooses different methods of creating art depending on the age. When a patient is very young and does not possess a well-developed vocabulary, their artworks speak for them. Dr. Rubin wrote about a young girl named Carla in her book Child Art Therapy, which I have right here. Thought it was actually a very interesting book. She wrote that she was having terrible vivid nightmares and through drawing and role-playing began to deal with them. It was documented that in one of her sessions she reversed the roles and became herself the feared monster, attacking me as the frightened child. It was during this period of work that the nightmares ceased, never to reappear in the course of her therapy. And this was the monster that she was drawing in her sessions, and the one from her nightmares that disappeared through her therapy. By drawing these and actually acting them out, which is another form of art, acting is art, and by role-playing, and she actually drew on her therapist's face to make her the monster. She got rid of her nightmares and they disappeared. Elderly patients undergo a slightly different type of therapy. In one case, war veterans were treated using art therapy. In their article, Humor, Self-Attitude, Emotions, and Cognitions in Group Art Therapy with War Veterans, written in 2013, Koptin and Lebedev's study indicated that when used as a brief intervention, group art therapy may exert a positive influence on war veterans, and particularly on their symptomatic status, personality functioning, cognitive abilities and creativity, and quality of life. Their study proved that art therapy has a positive effect on post-war veterans. Art therapy has helped so many people, and I'm sure it will only continue to do so on countless others. Being informed about new and different forms of therapy can only benefit you as a human being. Today I explained what art therapy involves, what it is. Second, I discussed the different age groups that benefit from art therapy. If anything is to be taken away from today, it's that there are options. Therapy isn't all about sitting down on a couch and telling your therapist exactly what you feel, because some people can't do that. So that's why we take art, and we use it as a way of speaking. Think about artists. Artists speak through their art all the time. Why can't a child do the same thing? Even though their stick figures might not be as eloquent as, the Mona Lisa, it's still speaking to us. It's a way, it's their feelings and personality on a page. And that's what we get out of our art therapy. Well, what I hope to get one day from my future patients. And I think that's a great thing. I love art. Art is a beautiful thing, and if by creating it, it can help people, then it's definitely a career I would like to be in.